Welcome to my humble abode. I'm Yoki the Tailspinner, and this is Tales Over Coffee, the channel where we start the day with a cup of coffee and a narrative tale, in the hope of welcoming a blessed day. We return now to the life and suffering of Sir Brante, to Yoki Brante, me, as I approach my youth. Arrival in the capital. It takes a whole month to reach Turner. Thomas and I spend all days wagging our chins and staring at the scenery as our carriage makes its way along the road towards the next province. Soon it crosses from the familiar barren arid lands of Magra to the stately mountains of Illyria. During one of our many stays at a roadside inn, the two of us even managed to share a whole bottle of strong wine and keep it a secret from the servant who drives the carriage. Adult life feels positively intoxicating. Soon, I tell you, soon we'll be there, says Thomas. And I'll earn my sword as soon as I get accepted into the military academy, you'll see. And then nobody's going to walk all over me like I'm some commoner. I keep rehearsing everything they taught me in school. Soon I am almost at the end of my long journey. I have left behind the arid rocks of Magra, the mountains of Illyria, and the flooded meadows of Archnia. Turner, the capital, and right ahead. Situated at the junction between Reglata and Talrina rivers, the city is vast. Three majestic stone bridges keep its three shores interconnected. Smooth stone paves the main streets. Gilded mouldings decorate the buildings. Towering pillars reach high into the sky. Our carriage takes us past a spacious park with marble fountains and intricately trimmed bushes. Many would say you should always keep your bush intricately trimmed. Some even say you should get rid of it entirely. Not what I would say. On the streets, you see ornately decorated carriages bearing Agnian coats of arms and abundant merchants' tents, filling the streets with beckoning cries and unusual sights. The spires of ancient temples dot the city skyline. The carriage comes to a halt in a large city square with a towering marble fountain. The coachman says, we have arrived. Thomas is ready to apply to the military academy. The academy barracks are 2 streets away. Our lodging is in the hallway nearby. A room has already been reserved for us. We get out onto the street and say brief goodbyes to each other. We promise to meet again after the entrance exams. Then my friend disappears into the crowded streets of the capital. I am left to my own devices in this vast city. A group of nobles walk past. They are dressed in well-fitting clothing, decorated with gems and golden thread. I'm not even noticed. Street urchins chase a dog down the alleyway. Soldiers of the Imperial Legion are marching to fifes and drums across the towards the barracks. Humble pilgrims are gathering to the great temple of the twins. There are the sounds of music and fountains and the smells of baked bread and garbage trains. I quickly check in at the lodging house, then go back outside. The sun is setting. Street lights come to life. Merry music fills the taverns. Couples and noble coaches with tinted windows fill the streets. Shadows and hushed voices and laughter fill the parks. I'm alone in this city, with this city so vast and unfamiliar. Take a look around, determined to fill my first night in this capital with memories. I see young nobles gathered by the fountain, talking and making jokes excitedly. One of them keeps glancing at the clock tower. They're about my age. Their clothes are hand-tailored and 2 of them bear noble swords. They seem to be waiting for something. It might be a good idea to make their acquaintance. It would be most helpful to develop a familiarity with the influential nobles of the capital. Loud music from a large establishment on the corner distracts me for a moment. The servants have just opened the shutters to air out the halls. It seems there will be a gathering inside. People from various estates greet each other. They take their seats. A servant by the door of the establishment hails me. Sir Gert Arkwright will be making a speech about the rights of the common estate. I wish to listen. I better get inside quickly. Then I look at the great temple of the twins at the far end of the street. The pillar shines in the evening dusk above it. The temple gates are open, and worshippers are flocking inside. There are too many people for an ordinary service. This must be something important. What do they preach here in the capital? And what do they say of the new faith and the teachings of Patriarch Fordists? I snap out of my reverie when I hear loud laughter. A group of young men dressed in colours of the Imperial College have made the acquaintance of several lovely girls. They're making their way down the street, united by merriment. One of the girls smiles at me. It's an invitation to join them. They turn the corner and walk away, but I can still hear their voices ringing and echoing through the streets. A night of revelry and jolly loud fun doesn't sound half bad. This is my first night in Eterna. No matter what I choose, I will remember it for a long time. I could meet the noble youth, but I stand against a lot. But no. I could listen to Arkwright's speech. Could be useful. I want to see how a lord talks of the common man. I could visit the great temple of the twins. That sounds more useful, honestly, and more intriguing. I could run after the students. No. We'll visit the great temple. I follow the worshippers and barely make it to the overcrowded great temple of the twins. Even this enormous hall of stone is not enough to fit in so many people. The commoners is absolutely packed. There are no free seats left at all. The crowd is buzzing in the anticipation. I hear reverent whispers. The preacher for today's evening service is Father Ulrich, one of the leaders of a punitive branch of the church. A man dressed in a long black cassock and wearing a silver cross appears on the raised platform by the altar. He bears a roll scroll on his side, held tight by a silver seal. I try my best to see his face. Chiseled features, sunken cheeks, bald head. Father Ulrich looks at the crowd with his steely eyes, and the hall falls silent. Ye who live in Eterna, I see before me the faces of true believers. We are not united before the twins, yet in our faith in them we are united. The twins are the guiding light in the darkness of our life. The twins are the only incontrovertible truth of this world. So says Isatius in his first book. The twins are law and will and love. Isatius has been wrong in many cases. I've seen that recently. But the will is above all. From this will came law, and love too was born from the will. The twins had the will to bring us those three gifts, and so the great Agnian Empire came to be. The twins had the will to lead us, and so we are no longer lost in the darkness now, guided by true faith. The twins brought their teachings to us when the Empire was founded, and so they created the very foundations of our lives. The knowledge of the lots, and the hereafter, and the paths we must follow in life. This is their legacy, and their gift to us. So heed these words, you who are righteous and live by your lot. You shall be brought to the peak of this shining pillar for an eternity of bliss, but you who live in defiance of your lot, you shall endure eternal suffering at the foot of the pillar. Every soul will face the stern gaze of the twins upon their true death, and answer for every misdeed. There is no escape from his judgment. How wrong he is. I have questioned the lots since birth, and I have been welcomed by the twins. Do you know one of the things that I've heard? That those of the robes, those of the priesthood, those of nobles, they do not get reborn. They have an immediate true death, which means they would not have direct knowledge of contact with the twins. Because if they die and go to meet them, they do not return. Is that because what they preach is wrong? So heed my will, for it is the will of the twins. Follow your lot in life and follow the words of Isatius, and then you shall reach the peak of the pillar, awaited by the gods. I've heard these words many times in the temple, in my theology lessons, from Mother, in the pages of books. But Father Ulrich's speech reaches far, far deeper. It seeps into the very hidden depths of my soul, breaking, binding me to the will of these words. There is no resisting this will. Father Ulrich is right. There is no task more crucial than living by our lot. So we must face the judgment of the twins in the hereafter. All doubt I had before my visit to the temple is gone. I feel joy at each word spoken by Father Ulrich. I do not like the way this is being forced. I say that out of character, but I do not like the way this is being forced. The truth was revealed to us all along. But I allowed it inside only now. And all the twins are always watching over me. Always guiding, always protecting, always judging. The sermon ends in the small hours of the night. The sky is tinted by the pink shade of the coming sunrise. And the shining pillar standing tall against the heavens. I return to my lodgings, prepared all things for the coming day, and drift off to sleep, free of any fear or doubt. Theology up to 13. Eloquence 14. And willpower down to 0. I arrived in Turner, the ancient capital of the blessed Acnean Empire. Luke's sermon. I have spent the last 3 days studying books, but today I decided to take a walk through the streets of Turner. They are full of life as usual. I am proceeded to the square next to the lodging house. A procession of priests walks through the square. I notice that one of them holds a banner of the new faith, an open book. This is the same banner that was behind Patriarch Fotis on the day of his assassination. The crowd gathers immediately around them. Many people are looking at the icon painted on a small pedestal depicting a grey-haired man with glowing green eyes. I recognise that face, the face of the late Patriarch Fotis. And intrigue once again challenges the surety that the priest gave me. A man with a thick black beard appears by the icon painting. His broad shoulders bear a white and gold cloak, with a coat of arms of the capital province embroidered on it. He is Luke, Patriarch of Acnea. He casts his stern gaze over the crowd. I speak to all who live within the sight of the shining pillar. Exactly 1 year ago we lost Fotis, Patriarch of the Magna province, mentor of the new faith. Patriarch Fotis was the first to see the books of Isatius for nothing but the words of man, not the words of the twins themselves. He was the first to tell people to seek the path of gods in their own hearts, instead of blindly following the lot. To seek answer in the lives of the twins and their own hearts, rather than the words of the priests. Through Patriarch Fotis, we were able to see the truth. Through his death, we saw that his words were not heresy. They are the truth that used to be obscured by Isatius' lies. And now I bring good news. Patriarch Junius Diamant has seen to it that our teacher will be canonized as a saint. Yes, Junius Diamant, an Archnean from the great dynasty of the Patriarch of Istinia, has joined the new faith himself. And through this, we hope that the entire empire will soon see that our doctrine is the truth. We are free from the shackles of the lots. We are equal before the twins. With each day, more and more people hearken to the truth. And one day the entire empire will hear our call. So let us pray, my brothers. And how does he resist the surety that the priest granted me? What is different about him and Fotis? And why am I questioning this now? The believers around us bow their heads in prayer and thank the twins, not for the lot they were given, as they usually would, but with the chance to choose their own path. The Patriarch's sermon is inspiring. It compels my hands to meet in a sign of prayer. It compels my lips to repeat the words of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermon forms a cadence. and my heart beats in time with it now. I recall the murder of Patriarch Voltis a year ago. It seems more patriarchs share his doctrine now. The news of Junius Diamant joining the new faith is stunning. If an Archnean from a great dynasty has sided with Voltis' doctrine and agreed to see everyone as equals under the twins, the new faith must truly be putting down roots. But suddenly several figures appear by the podium, figures clad in black with glinting silver on their sides, inquisitors. They push through the crowd, form a circle around Patriarch Luke. One of the priests raises before the crowd. He is clean-shaven, tall, with chiseled features. Everyone falls silent at the sight of him. The Inquisitor speaks with a booming voice that can be heard by all. I am Father Ulrich. In the name of the twins, and by my rights as an Inquisitor, I order you to turn around and leave. The words you're hearing are full of lies. Patriarch Luke has set out to poison your hearts and minds, and the Inquisition will not allow this heresy to spread. The only true path in life is the will of the twins. Life offers no other choice. You are hereby ordered to disperse at once, he says. Most people leave the square immediately. You want to get involved with the Inquisition. Some people stay, however, and some even angrily shout, "We want to listen to Luke. He is the Patriarch of Agnia, and he has more to say. Get away from our sermon, old believers. We will not listen to you and your hoary old lies about the lots." Inquisitors, says Father Ulrich, bring those who may yet listen back to their lots, and leave the others to the champions of faith. The black-clad Inquisitors descend from the podium and approach the people who choose to stay. With nothing but their words, they make people stop shouting and start listening. The uproar ceases quickly. They have dissected the crowd, split it into smaller groups that surround each Inquisitor. One of these Inquisitors chooses to approach me. He is a humble-looking man of age with a rough haircut. He looks me straight in the eye as his lively, soulful voice forces me to listen to his words despite myself. My name is Father Jeremiah. I know your thoughts were stirred by Patriarch's words. You are not sure whom to trust, but I teach at the seminary. I have been studying the teaching of my Earth twins my entire life. You can trust me. I know you can hear what I have to say. I see their light in your eyes, the light of the true faith. Will you listen to my counsel, my son? I feel no malice in the words of the Inquisitor Jeremiah, only hope. It is his lot to aid me, to guide me away from error, and set me on the path of the true faith. He is a priest, so he should know of the truth. Or perhaps the Inquisitor himself is in the wrong. I will not just stand and listen, this is wrong. I feel the pull to listen, and it feels unnatural. I will debate him. I will challenge him, see what he has to say. I start debating the Inquisitor, mustering all my knowledge and awareness of the new faith. The lots are an error introduced by Satius. They are incorrect, obsolete, and contrary to the life of the modern empire. Please hear me out, my son, said Jeremiah Hag, the Inquisitor. In these difficult times, people of your estate are the ones most tormented by doubt. Your lot is suffering, but not all of you are ready to suffer. Some turn to guile and cunning to avoid it, and they end up in eternity's embrace at the foot of the pillar. Please understand, your lot requires humility. Suffering is inevitable, and so is doubt. Each of them may temper your soul, yet each may also destroy it. But know this, if you have doubts, you are always welcome at the temple. No priest will turn you away in a moment of weakness. This is why we exist, to fortify faith in the heart of all people, to bring the word of the twins to those who have gone astray. Know this, the Inquisition does not imprison everyone suspect of heresy. We exist to protect souls, to guide and save them. We pursue dangerous doctrines and seek to rescue every soul we meet. Arrest or execution is our last resort, reserved only for sinners beyond redemption. You can see that I am merely speaking to you right now. I have not resorted to force, nor am I giving you any orders. Do not resist this, but rather consider the following. Did the Patriarch speak the truth? I answer that Luke's sermon was far more convincing than Father Jeremiah's words. Everyone blindly heeds the writings of Satius, who is but one man, who decided he had the right to define the lives of generations to come. But people have the right to free will, I say. They have the right to choose their destiny and bear the burden of choice, Father Jeremiah sighs in response. It saddens me to see that you have been led astray so easily. You are yet young. You should seek to learn the truth on your own. If you truly believe you can interpret the will of the gods, perhaps you should become a priest yourself. If you come to the Divine Seminary and prove you deserve the lot of the clergy, you will be accepted. I teach there, and I am always happy to see students of considerable talent, even if they have been led astray. But for now you should leave this place. You will learn nothing by facing the champions of faith. With this, Father Jeremiah leaves me and proceeds further. I leave the square freely, my dignity preserved. The remaining people in the square continue arguing with the other inquisitors. Armed champions of faith stand nearby, but they do not intervene. Luke and his retinue can no longer be seen. Eloquence increased by 1. I walk back to the lodging house, mulling over Father Jeremiah's words about the seminary. My family sent me to earn a noble title, but I have an opportunity to become a priest, of the old faith or the new. I see my destiny in service of the gods. No one has the right to stand in my way. In 1134 fall, the advance of the new faith. Patriarch Luke's sermons have converted many commoners and nobles of the mantle to the new faith. There are now several temples in Eterna that follow the new canons, with Luke's blessing. This has led to no small amount of anger among the followers of the old faith. 2 mighty bishops of the church lead the new faith. One of them is Luke, the Patriarch of Agnia himself, spiritual mentor of the capital province. He preaches all across Agnia his every sermon adding to the new faith's flock. The other leader of the new faith is Patriarch Junius Diamant, hailing from a great Agnian dynasty. He is the de facto ruler of Estinian province. Adored by his subjects, he has founded the Holy Order anew. Junius Diamant rarely preaches, but people believe the Estinian Patriarch attends to the needs of all who convert to the new faith. This schism within the church is growing. The split has furthered the divide between the commoners and the nobles, though thankfully there has been no direct conflict as yet. But it has become clear that there is no way to stop the steady advance of the new faith. Born from the death of Patriarch Photis, it grows stronger every day. The schism between the church and the new faith. Audrey's down to 5. Content. The city that never sleeps. The next few weeks pass by in hard work and preparation for the coming entrance exam at the Imperial College. I grow more and more exhausted with each passing day, so much so that one night I fall asleep while studying another book. When I finally come to, I decide it is high time to get some recreation outside. The city of Eterna amazes me as I stroll through its splendid streets. It is another night, a different night, yet the city is beautiful still. The shining pillar is a slice of light against the dark night sky. The lamps on the facades of the buildings are lit. Night descends on the capital. I don't feel like going back to my books tonight. Recently I made the acquaintance of several young men. They are children of nobles of the mantle just like me. Sent to the capital to earn their noble titles at the college, I decide to seek them out. My new friends are having a late dinner on the next street over, loudly discussing their plans for the night. Some speak eagerly of a dueling club, where I can see the most skilled and ardent duellers of the Empire doing what they do best. I have never seen professional duellers fight. It must be far more exciting than the father's fencing lessons, or that fight in the ruins of Anisot. And if luck favours me, perhaps I can even make useful contacts among the noble families of the capital. The others tried to convince the rest to take a trip to a certain secret salon. The establishment is expecting a guest tonight. They say, a young lady who speaks about the true state of affairs in the Empire. There are many questions about the nature of the place and identity of the mysterious speaker. But the young men have only one answer. They are forbidden to speak about this outside the club. However, they can take me there as long as I am not afraid to learn a dangerous truth. There are others still, drinking their fill of wine rather than eating. Fencing, they say, speeches, nonsense. The place you ought to go tonight, they claim, is the Machian Society, a gathering for those of common estate, but uncommon opinions. It offers pleasures for everyone, pleasures of the palate, pleasures of drink, pleasures of the flesh. Is this not heresy and crime? Perhaps, and yet some of the new power friends are eager to go there. In the end, my group splits in three to spend the night as they see fit. What will it be? A contest featuring the best fence in the Eterna, an establishment both mysterious and dangerous, or an encounter with the people who defy their lot with audacity. I wish the people of Machian Society well, let them celebrate, let them enjoy, but that is not my path. I am drawn, fiercely drawn, by the contrast between the surety offered by the Inquisitor, by the guile, by the wisdom, it seems, of the Patriarch. The conflict, surety on one side, intrigue on the other. And I am led to a question, and the question must be answered. What state is the Empire in? The city that never sleeps. The Secret Salon is an unremarkable wooden building down an alley, with a few blocks from the Great Temple of the Twins. A couple of tough, taciturn fellows at the door eye me suspiciously. Their faces are obscured by hoods. One of my newfound friends nods them, and I'm allowed inside. The inner rooms are stuffy and overcrowded. All the partitions have been removed to make room for more people. There is a raised platform next to one of the walls, perhaps a stage. There are benches all round. They are occupied by people of the common estate, most of them modestly dressed. They are artisans, tinkers, street vendors, students. Yet I see that some of them are wealthy and impeccably dressed. A mop-headed young man, dressed like a low-rank clerk, appears on the stage. He claps to attract the public's attention. When the house goes quiet, he reads a series of pamphlets condemning the supreme authority of the Empire and their obsolete rule. A group of young men appear on the stage next, their faces covered in blue paint. They perform a derisive play entitled Day in the Life of the Tempests. The performances are many, but their goal is always the same. They all claim the Empire is stuck in the past and has to change. Then finally, after another voice of accusation, a young girl appears on stage, and the crowd immediately grows silent. This is her, the mysterious guest they were talking about. I look at her from the crowd. I see short black hair, a slender figure, and those familiar shining eyes. It is Sophia. Brothers and sisters, you all came to this place because deep in your hearts you know. It is Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She's grown so much since I've last seen her. What is she doing here? But before Sophia even finishes her first sentence, a short man in shabby jacket jumps onto the stage. He flashed a badge and screamed at the crowd, "Nobody move, you are all under arrest as accomplices to an insurrection against the Empire." Imperial gendarmes barge into the house, swords and crossbows glint in the gloom and the dim light. First there is confusion, then panic. Screams of fear and outrage fill the hall. Fear is already gone. I can barely hear the cries demanding that we stay where we are. People start pushing against the gendarmes, against the doors, against the windows. The din is deafening. Only one thought remains in my mind. I have to run. Run away as fast as I can. I push my way to the furthest window in the hall. A hand grabs me by the sleeve of my jacket. I pry it off without looking and keep pushing forward. The expensive jacket starts to tear at the shoulder. The window frame breaks and falls outside. I drop down after it, shards of glass biting into my hands. But I barely feel the pain. I will have time to feel it later, but now I need to run. I run and dodge and weave through the alleyways before finally heading for the lodging house. Excuse me, my heart is racing. My hands are shaking. Blood is dripping from the cuts on my arms. I have no idea what happened to the people who were arrested. Finally, I reach the room and collapse into the bed. I am safe from pursuit, but not from anxiety. What was Sophia going to say? How did she end up here in the capital after she escaped? Was she arrested too? There are too many questions, but I have no way to answer them. Eventually, I drift off into restless sleep. My scheming is up to 9. I'm still inexperienced, but growing. $11:35. Spring, the Code of Laws. I am on my way to the largest library in Eterna to study for my entry exams. It is right next to the college. The streets are full of people. Everybody is excited. I hesitate for a few seconds, then let the curiosity get the better of me and head toward the place where I will soon study. Before long, I hear the shouting. The great Chancellor is about to give a speech about the future of the Empire. I cannot possibly miss this. I mix with the crowd and soon find a convenient place to listen and watch what is about to unfold. On the steps of the college, I see a small tribune guarded by 2 Agnians armed with swords. This is the first time I ever have seen an Agnian standing guard, let alone 2 of them. The doors of the college open to reveal a stately Agnian surrounded by an honor guard. It is he, Cornelius Tempest, Great Chancellor of the Empire, younger brother of the Emperor himself. He heads for the tribune and casts a look over the square. It is full of people in awe and utter silence. Long ago, humans witnessed the Agnians' arrival. The 2 nations built the Empire side by side. The provinces joined us one by one, and Magra was the final province to attain the absolute might and majesty of the blessed Agnian Empire. Yet there was another great event long before that. 1,000 years ago, the twins had graced us with their presence. With their arrival, the twins granted us their will. They showed us their love and their law. And they granted us knowledge of what awaits us in the hereafter. The knowledge you preach of so suits you first, doesn't it? Not everyone. They chose the dynasty of Tempest to rule the Empire, and from that day forth our dynasty has ruled this land, ordained by the gods themselves. However, it is our duty to the twins not to seek power for power's sake, but rather to lead the Empire to further prosperity. And so the Great Imperial Council is soon to review and adopt a new set of laws, called the Creed. Under the Creed, all estates will be granted rights. Under the Creed, there will be one law for all Imperial citizens to obey, human or Agnian, from the lowliest commoner to the Emperor himself. The strife among estates will end. A single law will resolve all our quarrels. Glory to the Empire. What are you speaking of, Cornelius? The Great Chancellor throws his arms into the air. The crowd murmurs and applauds in approval. He said much without saying anything. Building intrigue. Cornelius Tempest casts another look over the crowd and leaves. The crowd disperses. The sounds of agitated discussion are everywhere. Is it true the Emperor's dynasty seeks to grant equal rights to all estates? What will happen to the Empire then? Power is up. Struggle for power. What continues from here? The girl from your past. It is early morning. I have been awake since sunrise, studying. There is a knock at the door. Is it a letter from home? Or a hotel servant? I open the door and freeze stunned. Hello, Brante. Sophia. Before me stands Sophia, the girl who used to live next door. She's all grown up. She looks so different. I would always recognize those blue eyes, no matter what. I gesture for her to come in. Sophia enters the room, glances around, and sits in an armchair. I eye the girl I used to know as I sit across from her. But the young woman I see now has little in common with the girl I used to know. There is cold steel in the way she looks at things. Her hair is cut short. But what is she doing here? I can explain, she says. I've been living in Eterna for a long time now, ever since I ran from Anizot. I heard the other day that you'd left for the capital to get into the college. So I found you, and here I am. I asked how Sophia learned about my arrival and where I am staying, but she answers my questions with an enigmatic smile. We'll get to that later. Right now, I want to see how much you've changed since we last saw each other. As for me, it changed a lot. I'm a whole different person now. I look away as I recall my previous encounter back when Spire ran away from her Agnian master. Spire chuckles as she continues. Would you like to know what happened next? I travelled through the entire empire, all alone. I had nothing. My journey ended only when I reached this place, the capital, with all its important people and events. This is the heart of the empire. It's a place where I can make a difference. I've made friends here, found people I can truly call my family. I've even got an education of sorts, and I have a purpose now. I fight against injustice, I fight against the lots. I fight those who treat our lives like mud on the pavement. And no, I'm not afraid to tell you that. I came to you for a good reason. I need help. I know you, I have faith in your good heart, and besides, this is also about the Imperial College you want to enroll in. Tell me more, Sophia. Tell me more. There is a scholar there by the name of Bartholomew Dexter. He teaches natural sciences at the college. Dexter is an old man, but he's quite progressive. He'll stop at nothing to advance science and acquire new knowledge. As you know, only second-generation nobles or above are allowed to teach at the college, but Dexter, he is a commoner. He forged his patent of nobility to get a position at the college. But the secret chancellery recently learned of this. Dexter is about to face true death for this forgery. But how is that justice? A man wants to teach people, and for this they're going to take all his lives? They're going to punish him for the crime of being born in the wrong estate? It's evil and obscene, and I will not stand for it. Dexter deserves to be rescued. I hear you, Spire. I hear you. But I don't want to put anyone in danger, so I need your help. You're from a rich family. You're almost noble. If you could help me get Dexter out of the city, no one will suspect anything. No one will know, and the scholar will live on to continue his research elsewhere, far away from the secret chancellery. Will you help me? I feel perplexed by Sophia's sudden request. He's asking me to break imperial law and undermine the work of the secret chancellery to save this scholar. Rescuing Dexter would be an adventure. Also be incredibly dangerous. And besides, Dexter is a fake noble. He resorted to lies and deceit to get his current position. How much does this matter to me? Sophia's blue eyes are studying me, waiting for my reply. Yes, he lied, in a world that would not accept him if he didn't. That's the only lie we know of him telling. That's the only lie we know of him telling. He's a seeker of knowledge and a professor of truths. And those are truths that the Empire would not hear were he not in his position. It may not be right that he lied, but it's understandable. Acceptable, almost. My willpower is not greater than or equal to 0. So I cannot do assuaging my guilt. I could refuse, or I could help her. But honestly, as I'm sure you're aware, there is only one choice here. The lots are wrong, new knowledge is needed. We must help her. I promise to help Spire. Bartholomew Dexter does not deserve this. He has to leave the capital. She can count on me. I knew I could count on you, she says. Then we must act at once. There is no time to waste. Dexter is to be arrested tomorrow. Here's his address. Go there as soon as the sun sets. No one will suspect you. Dexter often tutors young men for the college entrance exams. Tell him the owl sent you. Use the back door to get out. The carriage will drive up to the backyard. The driver will hoot like an owl. He'll take you to the south gate. If the guards stop the carriage, just talk your way out of it. Once you're outside the city, Dexter will ride away in a different carriage. You'll go back the way you came. I'll meet you in Majesty Square. I nod to her words and my hands start to shake. I'm about to go against the secret chancellery. I am going to help someone escape punishment, to defy my own lot like this. It's unthinkable, and yet it's right. When the sun sets, I leave the lodging house and walk quickly, glancing over my shoulder repeatedly. Bartholomew Dexter's house must be somewhere around here. I find the place. A genteel old man opens the door. His face is covered in wrinkles. His shoulders are stooped, and yet his eyes are sharp and lively. Bartholomew Dexter looks at me for a moment, then asks why I've paid him a visit. I tell him I want to enroll in the college and I am looking for a tutor. Dexter nods and invites me inside. Once I make sure nobody else can see or hear me, I whisper to the scholar about the real reason for my visit. The secret chancellor will be coming for him tomorrow. and he has to leave now to escape through death. Dexter freezes, then turns to me. How do I know about him and the secret chancellery? I tell him that the owl sent me and has provided for his escape. As for the secret chancellery, they want him for forging a patent of nobility. The moment I utter Sophia's name, the lecturer calms down and starts packing for the journey. I watch him distractedly and notice that he lives in a rather austere fashion. It does not take him long to pack. I hear the quiet clacking of hooves in the yard. Carefully, Dexter and I proceed to the backyard of the building. I see a carriage there. The driver hoots quietly. I get in. The carriage rolls down the road. There is a tense silence in the closed-off space. Inside the carriage, the caller wrings his hands anxiously. Through the carriage windows, I see the massive city gate passing by. We're almost outside the city, but then a loud voice reaches me. Halt! The driver obediently halts the carriage. Two city gendarmes approach us. I leave the carriage to face the gendarmes before they can get to peek inside the carriage. They look me over and ask where I'm going so late at night. I tell them I'm the son of a judge in Magra, here to enroll in college, and right now I wish to visit the estate of a newfound friend. To convince them further, I mention the name of a nobleman's son I have become friendly with. The gendarmes release the carriage and wish me a pleasant trip. I drive along the high road until I encounter a peasant wagon. Dexter will take it to seek refuge far away from the capital. Before the two of us part ways, he pats me on the shoulder and tells me that I have done a truly brave deed. I return to the city without incident. I find Sophia in Majesty Square as agreed, sitting on a bench by a streetlight, reading a book of some sort. She closes the book when she sees me and offers me her hand. Well, did everything go according to plan, she asks. I nod. Then we earned ourselves a bit of free time, she says. Let's go. I set off on a walk through the maze of narrow back streets. Finally, I have some time for questions. What happened to Sophia over the last 2 years? She was just a girl before, a servant. How is she now a revolutionary? Sophia just smiles sadly. You've seen what I can do. I'm not just a girl. The Inquisition caught up with me when I ran away from Anisot. I ended up in the House of Humility, a dreadful place. I got collared. You know how it feels to lose your free will, losing everything that makes you you. She unclasps the tall shirt that had been hiding her neck all this time, and I see the round mark of the anti-magic collar. They say a scar like this will remain even after a lesser death, but I got lucky. Patriarch Junius Diamant saved me. Diamant took me and the other mages from the House of Humility and removed our collars. He really is a revolutionary then. He made me one of his attendants. He taught me that there are no laws. He told me that I'm like this, not because I'm a freak, but because it's my nature. He told me I can find a path to the twins, like anyone else in the world. And then I was taken. I got out on my own. I found my own lot. To protect the common people from the noble yoke. To help others who are as unlucky as I am. To fight for a different world. A world where everybody has equal rights. A world where mages don't get robbed of their free will, just because one aspect of their birth. A world where nobles no longer tread upon the commoners. Yes, this is our dream, but we are still so far from it that I will keep moving towards it, and I'll stop at nothing. A strange, distorted expression appears on Sophia's face. She will quickly return to normal. We keep walking until I am at my lodging house again. For a moment, we just stand there looking at each other. Then suddenly Sophia embraces me. For a moment, she remains still in my arms and whispers, "You should join my cause. If we work together, one day we'll become a force to be reckoned with. I know you came here to find your way, but I'll never believe you really want to bind yourself to other people's laws and desires for the rest of your life. The path I walk is dangerous, almost hopeless. But it's worth living for. Think about it. Goodbye." Sophia, I admire you greatly. I desire you more, I will not lie. But it is not your will, your wish, that guides me. It is the light of the twins. But I feel that my path and yours, while maybe not exactly the same, will often be hand in hand. Maybe internally. We will see. Then she withdraws just as quickly and disappears into the dark streets of Eterna. I make my way back to my room, exhausted by the events of the day. Was this really just a single day in my life? Team up to 10 a conspirator. Valor up to 11. Mediocre fighter.
I will never forget that day. For it was then that I chose the path I would walk for the rest of my life.
The three lots. There are only a few days left until the Imperial College entrance exam, history, law, theology. I spend all day reading and rereading the books I brought with me, studying at the Library of Eterna for hours, sometimes until it closes. As the day of the exam approaches, my hands start shaking more and more, and finally the day comes. A clear sky hangs over Eterna today. The breeze is warm. I dress in my best outfit, a grey jacket and velvet culottes trousers. I comb my hair carefully and polish my boots until they shine. I leave the lodging house and head for the Imperial College. My legs grow heavier with each step. My anxiety at the fact my fate will be decided today is virtually tearing me apart. The college is a majestic building that looks not unlike a castle. In the square in front of me, I can already see several dozen people, young men, sons of nobles of the mantle, like me, waiting at the college's door for it to open. Time slows to a crawl. At last the doors open. A stately man dressed in professor's mantle appears at the entrance. He is the dean of the college. The students-to-be fall silent as the dean gets ready to deliver his welcoming speech. But the silence is interrupted by heavy footsteps and clanking armour. A squadron of warriors emerges near the college, led by Agnian officers. The banner bears an image of golden grains. The noble militia of Monia peasants? What are they doing here? The nobles of Monia form a circle around the college, each warrior moving quietly and precisely until a chain is formed. One of the Agnians is clad in an old-fashioned suit of armour. He is the leader of the militia. He locks the bar on the massive doors of the college into place, then proceeds to the stairs to address a crowd loudly. His name is Agirius Monrog. Let me just check what that ping was. I must take a break. I am back. Had a long real-life interruption there, so I'm not sure if you've read any of this. Commoners, before you stands Agirius of the Monrog dynasty, Archduke of Monia. By my will, the college is hereby closed and today's entrance exam is cancelled. Your lowly origins make you unfit for the great honour of rendering service to the Empire. A right that ought to be available only to the hereditary nobles of the sword. The college's reputation has been tarnished. It breeds mock nobles who bear not a trace of noble blood. You belong to the lowly estate, but have forgotten your place. Cornelius Tempest and other traitors of the Empire are indulging you and defacing the institution of nobility for their lowly interests. A noble lot for those of lowly birth, how can this be? I will not stand for this disintegration of the Imperial Order. Now turn away from the college this instant and return to the humble trades of your ancestors. Plough your fields, mend your boots, and work and suffer by your lot. If any of you dare set foot on these stairs, you'll be killed at once. The students-to-be meet this speech with a stunned silence. The crowd in the square is growing, however. The news of the Monian noble militia and the college's closing spreads throughout the streets like wildfire. More humans join the crowd. College students, commoners, officials who worked hard to be noble. Unrest grows around us. I hear people calling to rush Archduke Monrog's forces to take control of the college and defend our right to become noble. Whoops. The Emperor himself gave us this right. We have a right. We have to fight for it. This is a decisive moment for us all. The old gentry have challenged us. We accept this challenge in the face of this shameful illegal act by the Archduke's forces. We may now prove that all of us deserve the noble lot. We will need to break through the cordon and get inside the college and take control of it. The nobles will never dare hurt us if our presence is strong enough. We are ready to risk it all and fight for our rights and nobility. I will have to lead the charge. People keep coming to the square in the meantime, including students and teachers from the Divine Cemetery. The lot of the clergy is to guide others on the right path, and the estates clash. The priests are bound to intervene. The seminary teachers instruct their students to form a line between the noble militia and the outraged crowd. The priests begin telling the warrior nobles and the riotous commoners to return to the preordained divine order, lest they provoke the wrath of the gods. The wrath of the gods. As the priest utters these words, the crowd around us disappears. A vision appears before my eyes. The empire is ablaze. I see burning land steeped with pain and despair everywhere I look. Rivers overflowing to extinguish the burning world. I can see that soil scorched by such fire will never bear fruits again. The God's given vision demands to be heard, demands to be prophesied into this world. But only the priest may speak to the twins and for the twins. Will I keep it inside, or will I step onto the path the twins have revealed to me? Somebody shoves me in the back, and I snap out of the vision. I turn around, see a small but decisive troop of commoners moving quickly through the crowd. They are led by Sophia. As soon as she sees me, she signals to them to stop. So you're here too, going to rush the college, are you? Can't you see it already? Laws cannot be trusted. They give you the right to study here just to throw you a bone. When the going gets tough, your masters will take it all away. It's time for you to decide. We are the Lockless. We are not putting up with this system any longer. We will fight for a new world. Are you coming with us, or are you going to submit to them? There are students and professors locked inside the college. Who knows how long Monroe will entertain this siege? And what if they start slaughtering people? Neither group of nobles will care what happens to them. We're going to go inside and pull them out. Come with us if you're ready to take control of your own destiny. The tension in the square is palpable and the situation is about to implode. Students, commoners, nobles with the mantle, followers of the new faith, all of them, are gathering their forces to move on the wall of soldiers. They expect the nobles to let them through en masse. Surely they won't start a massacre. The Lockless, led by Sophia, are prepared to break through the siege to rescue the people in the college. And all the while, priests preach peace to both sides of the conflict. The college is my only way into the nobility. Only I can fight for my new lot and fulfill my duty to my family. A duty that seems ill-fit now. Look at what the lots are doing. I've said before, there is a wrongness here. I could organise an offensive strong enough to get through the college, and thus seize my lawful right to a true nobleman. Yet the revelation about the wrath of God still pulses in my mind. Once revealed, this vision will take me on a different path. Standing with the priests and preaching what I have just seen, warning all of the dire danger on the path of warring estates. Bringing the twins' word to the people and guiding them to salvation. Could this be my new lot? Or is that a deception? Is that a prophecy of what must be? What must be to see the twins brought into the world because the wrongness is too strong and must be wiped out and purged with holy fire. Here in the Lockless, they expect me to join their struggle. They are waiting for me to cast off the old ways and earn the eternal yoke of subservience. If I choose this path, I will not change my lot, and my suffering will continue. But my suffering might just change this world. This is the moment. My future life will be decided here and now. This is a hard one. The way of faith is the way I have, but I'm not sure that it's what I saw. This revelation, it was incomplete. It It is uncertain whether that's a revelation of something to avoid or something that must happen. And if I select this, I am certain it's going to be viewed as something to avoid. I have no interest in being noble. To follow the Lotless. One truth is that we must save the innocent. I could preach this very effectively. But would it be preaching for the lots to be maintained? And I'm sure I've been shown that is not the way that's wanted. This would be my suffering. But that matters little in the grand scheme. Of course, this I cannot. A hard decision, the hardest so far. Let us stand with the Lotless that are innocent in their suffering, who may die of starvation if they are not rescued. I have decided. The storm of doubt in my mind clears at last. I am done serving the will of others. I will defy my lot, and I do not need another. I am free already, and for this freedom, I am ready to sacrifice everything. Anything. I walk to the Lotless as Sophia smiles at me softly. Her companions pat me on the shoulder and then get to work. The Lotless withdraw from the mob in the square and prepare for the raid. They are strong people of lowly birth, and their clothes are covered in dirt and soot. They hang on Sophia's every word. So the plan is simple. I will go to the warriors by the side gate and distract them. You know me, I have my ways. The rest of you must get inside the college and lead the people outside. When you are done, wait for my signal. Sparks of yellow flash in Sophia's eyes. He walks with confidence to the nobles guarding the side gate. They meet her with drawn swords, and then a flash of yellow light fills their eyes. The warriors freeze in place. Sophia walks away, and they follow her obediently. The path is clear. I hear one of the Lotless gasp in awe. That's our owl, all right. Only she can do that. It's time. I open the gate and get inside the college, leaving the crowd of the mob behind. Nobody stops me. Once this is done, I scatter to search the halls for students and professors. They are not too eager to trust the trespassing commoners, but with Agnian swords hanging over their heads. They trust us anyway. My student garb helps me convince them. I take everyone I can find out of the college through the same unguarded gate. The Lotless take a roll call in the alleyway behind the college. I rescued almost 2 dozen men, or we did. Sophia is the last to reach us. It is time to leave. The maze of hidden alleyways takes us safely to a patch of abandoned land. Sophia clambers up on the half-crumbled wall of the old house. She lights her pipe and gestures confidently for everyone to come closer. Welcome all, she says. We are the Lotless. We are the people who will never stand for the injustice of the imperial system. We live as we see fit. We have no masters, only our free will. Join our ranks and you will be forever free from the whims of the Agnians and the gentry. Walk away, and they will be free to do with you as they see fit. I believe today was a fair show of their intentions. The freed students exchange glances. If they join us, their hopes of being ennobled by the mantle will be cut short. But they already saw how precarious their position is. Many of them are enraged by the fact that the Agnians can take their rights whenever they please. We won't force you to stay. You're free to leave and go back to the college when it opens, if it opens. But if you don't want to dance to their tune anymore, the Lotless welcome you. Many students joined the ranks of the Lotless that day. I am among them. I am greeted by the motto of the Lotless. Our cause is just. My new life has begun. My life as a member of an outlaw brotherhood. There is no going back. I will be neither nobleman nor priest. My father will never forgive me for letting my family down, but for the first time in my life I feel truly free. I have defied my lot. Now my fate is mine alone. What will happen next? Part of the lawless events has happened. I remain a commoner. I remain in the common estate with no choice but to fend for myself and make my own way in the world. Bonds of friendship. I returned to the lodging house one last time to gather my belongings for the move to my new home. A young man dressed in the uniform of military academy greets me by the door. It takes me a moment to recognize Thomas. My friend locks me in an embrace. Brante, hey, how are you? I heard about the nasty stuff that went down in the college square. Those damn gentry would do anything to keep low-born folks under their thumb. Glad the situation resolved itself. As for me, I'm an academy cadet now. He is beaming with pride. I invite him in and chat while we pack. Thomas continues to relay the news as I walk up the stairs. He made it into the top 10, can you imagine? With you, my friend, I certainly can. Did pretty well in sparring and the sciences. It was all thanks to the help you gave me back in school in Nanny's hut. I'll be studying the art of war now, and then it's a quick march to the noble title. How about you? I tell Thomas what happened over the past few days and the path I've chosen. He remains quiet as I speak. Both of us realise that we may never see each other again. You know, Brant, here's what I think. You may have your own path in life, but you're my friend. We gotta make sure our friendship lasts forever, no matter what happens to us. Here, I bought 2 brass rings. If the old tradition is to be believed, both the rings and their wearers will remain close to each other, no matter where fate takes them. What do you say? The 2 of us grew up side by side, Thomas the audacious, hot-blooded, sharp-tongued boy who used to live next door. I can't imagine my childhood without him. But would it be right to promise him that our friendship will last forever no matter what happens? 2 rings made of plain brass lie in his open palm. If we wear these rings, we will be bound by ties of friendship for the rest of our life. I cannot take that. I can take the ring. Keep things in the outline friendship. I will take the ring. The 2 what will swear an oath? Take the ring that will bind your friend, fake Thomases, and swear an oath of eternal friendship. I take the ring. The 2 of us have been friends for a long time. It seems unthinkable that our friendship could ever end. I take one of the rings from his outstretched palm. The 2 of us have walked side by side ever since we were children. Even though our paths in life may diverge, nothing will ever tarnish our bond. We are ready to preserve our friendship in brass forever. I put the brass ring on my pinky, a perfect fit. Thomas does the same. He starts beaming again. Now, we're friends forever, for all eternity. We gotta celebrate this. Come, I know a place. I gotta show you. The tastiest mead I've ever tried, Brant. My treat. The 2 of us go to a noble salon by the side of Emperor Severin. By the square of Emperor Severin. Surrounded by tobacco smoke and mead bottles, we wag our tongues, recall the days of our adolescence, and make plans for the future. Nobody knows what could be waiting for us. We promise we will never lose sight of each other. We are bound by friendship. I and Thomas have formed an unbreakable bond of friendship. Year 1135, fall, a letter from home. I write a letter home and tell them I failed to get into college. There is no other way Father would have learned everything, one way or another. It isn't an easy letter to write. He did send me to the capital specifically to attend the college after all. I write about Archduke Monroe's assault on the students' doubtful future, now that their right to be ennobled by the mantle may be revoked. I tell them that I plan to get a job in the capital and earn a living. They should accept my choice. The reply from my family arrives quickly. We sent you to the capital with one purpose, writes Father, but you failed. Indeed, nobody expected an attack on the college, but you could have upheld your right to study there had you been more firm. Cornelius Tempest will ensure the college opens again, yet you have already rejected the nobleman's lot, and to what end? I can only accept your choice now, but you will no longer receive any support from the family. I understand that, Father. I accepted that. It is up to you to earn your keep. I can only hope that you will not disappear in the capital. I accept your well wishes, Father, and I do not expect any support from family. I know I'm walking a dangerous path, an unfavoured path, but it is the right path. This entire siege incident is nothing but a poor excuse, writes Stefan. You failed to uphold your right to enter the college. That is the end of it. It cost Father so much time and money to send you to the capital, and you rejected it all. And for what? To remain a commoner until the end of your days. I hoped you would one day become my equal, but now the very thought of that is just absurd. We were never equals, Stefan. You've had your moment, but mostly you've sold out any right to be viewed as anyone's equal. There is another letter. It's from Gloria. Seems neither Father nor Stefan knew she sent it. Sir Robert smashed a vase. As he read your letters, he writes, Stefan screamed at the top of his lungs about low-born and foul bloods. Fortunately, I led Mother and Nathan away before we all got in trouble. But I am proud of you. You defied Father's will. You went against all expectations, against this entire rotten system. You made this decision. Now follow it to the end. I believe this path will lead you somewhere worthy. Take good care of yourself, my brother. Robert Brandt is down to indifference, 0. Stefan Brandt +1, indifference. +3, sympathy from Gloria. The Lotless. I cast one final glance over the room where I lived for so long. Here is the table at which I sat studying all those books. Here is the bed on which I dreamed about my dreams of the future. My things are packed. I walk down the stairs. The landlord's servile smile is gone now. The unspent remainder of the funds allocated for my accommodations drop onto the counter from Mr. Reluctant hand, and then he turns away. I have no lot now. I am free. Free even from the knowledge of my tomorrow. I have cast away my destiny, but for what? This remains to be seen. The Brandt family will support me no longer, but I have to find a place to stay in the capital, so I can aid the Lotless, and so I seek Spire. I'm afraid I can't offer you a noble estate, but we found a basement in an abandoned house and made it into our home. That is all I ask, Spire. It's on the bank of Reglata, by the river port. It's livable. There's only one room for everyone, so bring your own bedding. But it's warm and clean, and we have food and a place to keep our things. You'll be safe. After all those carriage rides, going through the city streets on foot isn't half bad. The bayside wind still gets under my skin, but it also cools me down on hot days. Not that I need it. I was born in Anisot, in the very southernmost part of the empire, and the hot season in the capital is nothing compared to the real heat in Magra. I recall all the hot days in the garden, sitting with Father and talking about the lot, about my future in the capital. He used to look at me with such pride. He was so confident I would follow in his footsteps. A chilling gust of wind snaps me out of it. Enough nostalgia. It's time to face the future I have chosen for myself. The house where the Lotless live is close to the port. The basement's entrance is hard to find, but I eventually locate it. Inside is one large room with bedding and belongings strewn about all over the floor. I find some free space in one of the corners, so I can place my bedding and my things nearby. Then I take a good look around. There is only a handful of people in the building. We introduce ourselves to them. They show us the utilities. A small kitchen and a room with a stove and several buckets of water. If I need more, the river is right nearby. I ask them how long they have lived here. About 8 months, one of the Lotless tells me. They took over this basement back when they had only 10 members. Most of them were more or less homeless, disowned by their families, expelled from the college, academy, or seminary. The pair found a place where they could live together. Everyone sleeps in the basement and meets in the abandoned house above. Sophia certainly is thoughtful in tone. That she is, my fellow Lotless say, nodding. She takes good care of us, but she's also really secretive and demands that we follow her orders to the letter. Even after all those months, nobody knows where she lives. She only shows herself when she deems it necessary. Soon, I come to know the Lotless better, and I see that they truly believe in what they are doing. At present, they are trying to expand their ranks and convince the common folk that the present order in the Empire can and must be fought. I can do this. I have to believe I can do this. And I have to do whatever Sophia says. Perhaps not everything she says, but this is the right will of the twins. As I've said all along, the Emperor is corrupt, the Empire is corrupt, the Lot are corrupt. Some of the students I rescued are also here. With their arrival, the ranks of the Lotless practically doubled. The events at the college turned them against the current system. They're eager to act, and so am I. Sophia meets with every newcomer in private. It takes a few days before she finally speaks to me too. Sophia is sitting at a desk behind a pile of papers. She looks worn out, but she still smiles at me. Hi, she says. There's a reason I wanted to talk to you last. Our ranks are growing, but not everyone is as smart and learned and cunning as you. I need results, and I expect to get them from you. We have to tell the common folk the truth about what happened at the college. It doesn't matter how we do it, the Lotless will never forget. And we will never forgive the nobles for what they did. We have to tell people we exist, and we have to recruit new members. I know you can think of a way to do both. I expect a report in 1 week at our next meeting. Good luck. So, the leader of the Lotless. I do not think she sees herself as a lot above the rest of us. But she is giving herself airs. Then again, the duty is one I would embrace. Fire stops talking and looks at me. I nod. There's something else I want to tell her, but I have no plan just yet, and it seems she has no time for small talk. I leave the room. What will I do now? How can I tell people about the Lotless without everyone getting arrested? The best place to do this would be somewhere on the outskirts of the city, in the markets, taverns, where commoners tend to gather. She's wrong about one thing, although what she is wrong about needs discretion. We must not just preach to the commoners, we must educate the nobles too. Those who can be educated, like the Tempest. I spend the rest of the day strolling through the city street. After a night of pondering, I have 3 ideas. My first idea is the safest. Print a lot of leaflets and spread them across all Eterna. Tiny papers are easy to hand out, and all it takes is a few printed words that hit home. Printing press. Can I even find a print shop that will support my cause? Plan number 2. Talk about the Lotless to anyone willing to lend an ear. This is a more reliable option. Indeed, printing leaflets may well just be used as toilet paper. It's not effective. It is often not effective. After all, people tend to believe other people more than words on paper. It's more dangerous too. It's easier to arrest an orator than an author. And our numbers are too few as it is. And then there's plan number 3. The city is still abuzz after what happened at the college. Somewhere out on those frantic streets are people willing to heed my call, our call. Instead of wasting time and effort telling everyone about the Lotless, perhaps we should focus on recruiting. The printing of leaflets is not there. We could condemn the nobles, organise groups of agitators who will spread the truth by word of mouth in the city squares. We could recruit new members, start combing the city taverns and public houses, searching for more like-minded people among the students and the young. I think that is where we begin. Condemnation will lead to our people being arrested too easily. With more members, our numbers will swell. After the incidents at the college, people start asking questions and looking for answers. I see how many young people in the streets are quietly sharing rumours, discussing the news and trying to figure out what to do. They already know the truth. They have to be recruited right now. I won't get another chance like this. Over the next few days, I visit a number of taverns and public houses frequented by young people. 2 ex-students accompany me, while my comrades are loudly discussing the college incident in order to provoke a reaction. I stay away, listen carefully and watch to see who reacts. Anyone ready to support my position, anyone eager to speak and angry enough to act, is my target. Once I have a target, I sign for my comrades to stop, and together find a way to get the target alone for a talk. I tell my potential recruits about the Lawless and invite them to a meeting next week. Almost all of them say they will be happy to come. My plan is going well. I enjoy spending time around surrounded by loud, festive people, energized by freedom, camaraderie, and unity, brought together by a common and just cause. First day yields a dozen potential members. 2 more days yield another 15. The day of the next meeting comes, and there are not enough seats to fit everyone who arrived to join the Lawless. People are leaning on the walls, arguing, laughing, and listening attentively to Sophia's speech. So particularly inspired today, he addresses me at the end. Willpower is up to 10. Good. Today I have nothing but words of gratitude for you, my old friend. You used to walk a different path, but you have seen that our cause is just. You joined us only recently, but have done so much for us already, and I'm confident that we have a bright future together. Many thanks to you, Brante. I would rather be called Yorkie, but Brante I am to her. 18 years of age. Year 1136 winter, the trial of the 50. I have lived another year in the capital. Its owner has been shaken by what is known as the trial of the 50. 50 people stand trial at once, all prominent members of several political circles. They are accused of treason and conspiracy against the crown. The accused spoke in favour of reducing the power of the nobles and granting more rights to the common estate. There was no mention of rebellion, yet those words alone were enough to indict them. Every season of the trial is open to the public. Session of the trial is open to the public. It is a show of power made to discourage people from forming such circles ever again. I attend one of these sessions. The 50 face their verdict, forced labour in the minds of Margaret and Illyria for regular members, true death for their leaders, 6 men and 1 woman. Their public execution takes place in the centre square of Eterna. I remember the woman. Her name was Annie Serin. She made a speech before her execution. A young woman, not too tall, her face almost plain, with long bangs over her eyes. She looks calm, even at this moment. I cannot believe she is about to leave this world forever. Annie Serin takes a look around before she speaks. Her voice is quiet. I am close enough to hear her every single word. He says she is happy to give her lives fighting for the rights of the people. Her cause will never die, he claims. Unlike others like her will continue their work in hiding, for their cause is right and just. She is dragged away to the others. They put a sack over her head and tighten a noose around her neck. A hand yanks on the lever and 7 dangle in the air. Their feet tremble at first, then grow still. There are gasps and cries of discontent in the crowd. Struggle for power veers towards the nobility, but is still in a struggle for power. Order has gone up by 1 to 6. Discontent. And so we continue next time, aged 18, before the march. Very well.